Now, later on after those visitors left, what do you think the conversation was with Abraham and Sarah? How do you think they talked to one another? Like, what just happened? Like, I know when my promise came through Noah and it was appeared I was going to adopt a child, I'm like, what's happening? I don't even know what to think. But you know what? At that same time, a year later, it was God who had the last laugh. The scripture says in Genesis 21:1 that the Lord visited Sarah just as he had said he would, and he did to Sarah just as he had promised. She conceived and she bore Abraham a son from her body. Isaac was born. Sarah and Abraham's name for God was Jehovah Jireh because he was their provider. You know, when they lived in Ur in the land of Chaldees, the Lord took them out and said, Abraham looked at her and said, Jehovah Jireh, the Lord will provide. Life will be better in Canaan. And so off they went. And then when they were in the Egyptian scandal, how are we going to get out of this? Abram, you lied and said I was your sister. God will provide. He's Jehovah Jireh. And then when Lot, his nephew, and Abram split the land, and Lot chose all the grasslands and left Abram with all the rocks. And Sarah's like, what are we going to do? How are we going to live here? The Lord will provide. And so I like how Max Lucado is so witty with words. When they stood next to their empty crib and she would cry and wondered how she would be the mother of nations, he would put his arm around her waist. I can just see it and say, honey, the Lord will provide, right? So this is so good when Max Lucado says, when I do things my way, I get a headache. But Sarah must have said, when I let God take over, I got a son. Try to figure that out. Maybe Sarah said, I'm the first lady in town who ever paid her pediatrician with a Social Security check. He's so witty. But in that, Abraham and Sarah truly learned how to trust God. So, Matthew 5:3 says,